So Trump's big, beautiful bill passed the House. We're going to debunk the lies about it, but I want to show you the reaction from Democrats because it's crazy. It's very telling. One of the best things in the bill is that they're cutting spending to Planned Parenthood. And leftist actress Natasha Lyonne was asked about this. Her response is nuts. It is nuts. So, as always, guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel so more patriots will see it. Here we go.
Like when I think of the kids, or like the 12-year-old girl that can't get an abortion or something, or, you know, that's what really like rips me apart. But you know.
Really rips her apart, huh? That's an interesting choice of words because you know what literally rips people apart, like literally speaking? Abortion. Of course, her top priority, though, is to make sure that 12-year-old girls can abort babies. Makes no sense. The question asked to her was, what's your takeaway? What's your reaction to Trump's bill? And that's what she came up with. And you can notice her language. She doesn't talk about protecting assault victims. She doesn't talk about protecting innocent 12-year-olds. That's not what she said. She said her top priority was making sure they have federally funded murder. Insanity. So Democrats are crazy on this. That, of course, was not the only reaction to the bill. There are lots of lies coming out from Democrats right now. So I want to debunk them right here and right now. Number one, there's kind of four main lies. Number one is that people are saying that Trump has cut Medicaid for hardworking Americans who want just, free health care. They just want to be taken care of. That's a lie. Medicaid was cut for able-bodied people who work less than 20 hours a week. You had to work a part-time job in order to qualify for Medicaid. That's the change in the bill. Again, if you're disabled, I get it. I am a huge fan of helping disabled people. That's not what this is about. The left is outraged right now that a lazy bum who can't work for 4 hours a day, that's what they're asking for. 4 hours a day. The left is outraged that he's not going to get Medicaid anymore. It's going to be taken from him. Of course, they can't package it like that, so they just say, oh, Medicaid's being taken from people. It's a straight out lie. Trump is not cutting Medicaid for the average person. Lie number two, Democrats are suddenly saying that the debt crisis matters and that Trump is making it so much worse. It is a total crap. This is such blatant crap. They're right that the debt is getting worse. And again, for those of you who love Thomas Massie, we're going to talk a little bit about him later. But they're lying to your face when they say they care about the debt. Democrats do not care about the debt in the slightest. As many pointed out online, the talks about the debt crisis only happen when Republicans are in power. When Democrats are in power, there's no talks about it anymore. Suddenly, our bloated welfare system doesn't matter anymore. Democrats are happy with it. They need to do more and more of it. And there's no talk about what that might do to our debt. But Republicans are somehow mean and evil because they're cutting the spending right now. It makes no mistake, no sense whatsoever. Cutting the spending sufficient to help our debt would obviously require privatizing Social Security, making massive cuts to SNAP, Pell Grants, Medicaid, Medicare, all those things. Democrats don't want to touch it, which fair enough if that's what you're going to stick to. Just don't talk about caring about the debt later on. Lie number three. We're in the debt situation because of boomers. I've been hearing a lot about this. This is such crap, I have to say. It's such crap. There are a few things that piss me off more than this. As a member of Gen Z, there is no surer sign to me that someone is weak sauce, zero responsibility kind of person than when they blame boomers for their problems or any generation older than them. It's just so weak sauce. It's so stupid. There's no data for it. The boomers love their expensive welfare, that's for sure. But so does Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. All of them do. There's no, right now, if you look at the polling data, if you look at what everybody's saying, there's no large generation. There's no actual generation where the majority is saying that they want to cut spending. The closest generation is my generation, but that also makes sense because we're the youngest. And so we're not on welfare as much as old people. The argument kind of people use right now is that the boomers are straining our welfare. And the reason why that's completely ridiculous is because, of course, they're straining it. They are the oldest generation. Of course, the older people are taking the welfare because that's what most of the welfare is geared towards. It's geared towards helping people in their older years. In 15 years from now, it will be Gen X, and then it will be millennials, and so on and so forth. That's how it works. And of course, we'll have probably Gen Alpha and Gen Beta talking about how Gen X and the millennials ruin the world. When people say that, it's bull crap. It's total crap. I don't know how else to say it. It's just stupid. It's a way to take zero responsibility for the fact that every generation wants the debt to keep increasing and doesn't want to actually choose something to cut. Lie number four. This bill is a big tax break for the rich. This is a massive one from the left right now. It's a little tricky. The reason why is because technically it actually is true, but also it's really not. And the reason why I say that is because poor people don't really pay taxes in our country, like at all. They just don't. Rich people pay about the top 10% pay 90% of the taxes in our country, to be exact. And the middle class pays, the other 9%. The lower classes pay 1% of our taxes. So if you're going to make a tax cut, who is it going to affect? Is it going to affect the person that doesn't even make any money and is not being taxed? Obviously not. So then it will disproportionately help the rich. So yes, I guess in theory, but when you're not paying taxes at all, I don't really know how you're supposed to get a tax cut. Now, the reason why it's not fully true and that the taxes in this bill actually do help lower class Americans quite a bit is it gives $1,000 to kids. You get your MAGA savings account that is being created through this. That helps, rich and poor people alike, but disproportionately helps poor people, obviously, because $1,000 goes a lot further and it's a lot bigger of a deal. It doubles the child tax credit, massive for poor families. It also doubles the standard deduction, which rich people don't take the standard deduction. And, the only people who are taking the standard deduction are the middle class and lower class. So that doesn't help rich people at all. That only helps the lower classes. And then, of course, the income tax rate is still lowered for not just rich people, but for the lower classes as well. So those are the big lies, and they're just straight out lies. Now we have to talk about one big truth, and it's kind of a hard truth that we have to look at. The big, beautiful bill does increase the spending a lot. They estimate about $4 trillion. I think that's a shoddy estimate. It's difficult to know exactly what the lower tax is going to do in terms of GDP growth. All of that is tough, but let's take that at face value and say it's going to be $4 trillion. This is where the central controversy really lays. You have Republicans who want to cut the spending, and then you have Republicans who want Trump's agenda enshrined in law. And it's really tricky because what this really comes down to, in my opinion, is a difference in how you think congressmen should govern. One philosophy on one hand is the philosophy that the Republicans who voted for the bill has, which is 215 Republicans, the vast majority, which is that your responsibility as a congressman is not actually to the truth, but rather to your constituents. So if your constituents want something, you do it. They tell you to do something, whether or not you really think it's a good thing or not, you do it because they elected you to represent them. The majority of Republicans wanted this bill, hands down. I'm not just talking about the people in power. I'm talking about the actual, members of the Republican Party. They say, if you look into the polling, most of them wanted this bill passed. They wanted Trump's agenda signed. Because as I said, everyone wants to reduce spending, but they don't really want to reduce the thing that they care about most. So at the end of the day, people don't really want to reduce spending. The reality is that Americans just don't want the deficit to go away because they want their own little thing. So that's the one side. The other side is that there's this philosophy, which is the philosophy of Thomas Massie, which is that Thomas Massie is not serving his constituents. That's not his job. He says that his job is that he should be serving the truth. He thinks Americans are wrong on this, obviously, and he's right that they're wrong. I agree with Thomas Massie on that. And he knows that what we're doing right now with the debt is completely unsustainable and that the only thing that we can do to fix it is to cut the spending. Otherwise, in 20 years, we can only solve this really through three things. You can solve it through hyperinflation. You can just default on the debt, which will, end up de-dollarizing the world. Or you could have massive tax increases, all of which would be catastrophic and horrible, much worse than cutting spending right now. Thomas Massie knows this, and he has decided to stick to the truth over what Americans want. By the way, his district agrees not with Thomas Massie, but with the rest of the Republicans, if you look at the polling data. So Thomas Massie is going against the will of the people for what he believes to be true. And I think that there is validity to both principles. You can see where both would be legit. But one thing is certain for both. Americans don't want the deficit to go away. They don't want the debt to go down. And it's basically, what it's going to get to is that it's going to only hurt worse and worse until it hurts bad enough. And that's when the truth and the will of the American people will align. As many of you guys know, I have a brand new baby at home, so I'm getting zero sleep right now, but the gym is still a priority to me. And fortunately, I have Energy Rocks, the partner of the show, to help me get the energy that I need. Energy Rocks replaces the heavy, sugary pre-workout drink with a light supplement that you can fit just in your pocket, and you can eat whenever you need that boost. It's modeled after Pop Rocks, Energy Rocks was created by a competitive athlete for athletes and anyone who needs that caffeine boost to enjoy without the messy mixes and the caffeine crashes. My favorite thing, it's only 20 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and you get all the energy that you would get from 1 cup of coffee. Go check them out right now. They're giving us, my show, you guys as my audience, a fantastic, generous deal of 20% off everything site-wide. Just use the code JoshCarr, 20 off at checkout. The link and that code are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that the YouTube overlords don't hide it and other great patriots like yourself will see it. Tune in every day live at 6 p.m. for the live show, and you can watch another video right here.